palace was alive with activity as Ethan awoke. Today was no ordinary day. Kira had informed him that the council would convene to discuss the final terms of the Human-Zirithian alliance. His role was no longer that of a student. He was now a trusted advisor and participant in events that could determine the future of both species. Kira awaited him in the training halls, moving with her usual poise and confidence. Her violet eyes seemed brighter than usual, reflecting both determination and anticipation. "Ethan," she said, "today you will witness diplomacy at its most critical, and you may be called upon to act decisively. Are you ready?" Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. "I'm ready," he said firmly. They made their way to the Grand Council chamber, a vast space filled with Zirian leaders from every corner of the empire. Humans had been invited as observers and contributors, but Ethan's presence carried significance beyond that. He was proof that humans could adapt, learn, contribute meaningfully to Zirithian society. As the council began, discussions flowed with intensity. Plans, treaties, and protocols were debated. Ethan observed carefully, noting subtleties in behavior, gestures, and expressions, just as Kira had taught him. His mind worked quickly, analyzing alliances and potential conflicts. He realized that his understanding of Zirithian culture, gained through countless lessons and experiences, gave him an advantage few humans could claim. A tense moment arose when a council member questioned the inclusion of humans in the alliance. His voice carried skepticism, doubt, and subtle hostility. Ethan remembered Kira's lessons, the importance of measured response and careful observation. He spoke quietly but with clarity, presenting his observations on human reliability, adaptability, and courage. His words were precise, informed by experience rather than theory. Kira watched him, her eyes reflecting pride and approval. "Well said," she murmured. Ethan felt a rush of confidence. His voice, his actions, and his insight were now valued on a level he had never imagined. The discussion continued, growing more heated as old rivalries and fears surfaced. Ethan noticed small gestures, flicks of the eyes, shifts in stance, subtle tones of voice that revealed hidden alliances and unspoken agreements. He relayed these observations to Kira in brief whispers, helping her anticipate the moves of the more stubborn council members. When tensions escalated, Kira took control with her signature calm authority. She addressed the council, presenting a vision of cooperation, peace, and mutual benefit. Ethan's role was subtle but critical. He reinforced her points with human perspective, demonstrating the potential for collaboration between the species. The council listened, challenged, and debated, but slowly. The atmosphere shifted from skepticism to cautious acceptance. By mid-afternoon, final terms of the treaty were ready for approval. Kira turned to Ethan. "Your contributions have been significant," she said softly. "This treaty may not have succeeded without your insight and courage. Today, we see the fruit of your efforts." Ethan felt a deep sense of pride. He had arrived on Zirithia as a visitor, uncertain and untested. Now, he was a participant, a contributor, and someone who had earned the respect of an entire civilization. After the council adjourned, Kira led Ethan to a quiet balcony overlooking the city. The twin moons shone brightly, casting silvery light over the crystalline towers and glowing gardens below. "Ethan," she said, "you have grown beyond my expectations. You have learned quickly, adapted, and proven yourself capable in ways few could. But there is something more important than skill or knowledge, trust, respect, and the bond we share. That is rare, and it is valuable." Ethan looked at her, realizing that his feelings for Kira had deepened over the weeks. He had admired her strength, intelligence, and leadership. But he now saw her as a person complex, thoughtful, and capable of both authority and kindness. I feel the same," he said quietly. "I respect you, I trust you, and I value the bond we share." Kira's violet eyes softened, her usual smirk replaced by a gentle, sincere expression. "Then you understand why this partnership matters, not just for diplomacy, but for connection, trust, and the future. You are no longer just an assignment, Ethan. You are a part of this world and a part of my life. Ethan's heart raced. He realized that he had not only survived the challenges of Zerathia, but had also earned a place by Kira's side. A level of respect and trust that transcended species. He felt proud, humbled, and deeply honored. The days that followed were filled with preparation and celebration. The treaty's approval meant stability for the Empire and a new chapter in human Zerathian relations. Ethan participated in ceremonies, assisted Kira in addressing the people, and continued to refine his understanding of Zerathian culture. During these moments, Kira allowed herself to show a more personal side. She shared stories of her childhood, her training, and her hopes for the future. Ethan listened, fascinated, and felt the distance between them shrank further. They laughed, teased, and supported each other. The formal barriers of their assignment replaced by genuine connection. One evening, as the city shimmered beneath the moons, Kira and Ethan walked through the palace gardens. The soft hum of the plants and the glow of the pathways created an atmosphere of calm and peace. Ethan, Kira said softly, "You have not only proven your worth as a human, but as a companion, a trusted ally, and a friend. That is something no lesson could teach. It is earned through action, courage, and sincerity." Ethan felt a surge of emotion. "Thank you, Kira. You trusted me, guided me, and gave me a chance to show what I could do. I will continue to honor that trust in every way I can." Kira's smile was gentle, rare, and genuine. "Then we are partners, human, in every sense that matters. The galaxy may test us, challenges may arise, but together we will face them. You have proven that humans can rise to any occasion, and I am proud to stand by your side." In the days that followed, Ethan and Kira continued their work, blending diplomacy, training, and leadership. The humans and Zerathians began to understand each other more deeply, building trust and cooperation. Ethan's presence became a symbol of unity, a testament to the potential for harmony between species. The final celebration of the treaty was a grand affair. Citizens from across the Empire gathered to witness the formal signing. Ethan stood beside Kira, observing the joy, pride, and hope that radiated from the crowd. It was a moment of triumph, not just for diplomacy, but for trust, courage, and the bridge built between two worlds. After the ceremony, Kira turned to Ethan, her violet eyes reflecting the lights of the celebration. "Ethan, this is only the beginning. There will always be challenges, dangers, and obstacles. But I know now that together, we can overcome anything. You have earned a place not just here, but in my life." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest, a mix of pride, relief, and deep affection. "And you have earned my trust, my respect, and my loyalty," he replied. "I will stand by your side no matter what comes." Kira reached out, placing a hand on his shoulder, a gesture both personal and affirming. "Then we face the future together, human. Partners, allies, and friends. The galaxy may be vast, but we are ready." As the moons rose high above the city, Ethan looked around at the palace, the glowing gardens, and the people who now trusted him. He realized that he had arrived on Zerathia, uncertain and untested, but he had grown, adapted, and earned his place. And more than that, he had formed a bond with Kira built on respect, trust, and shared experiences that transcended worlds. He knew that the road ahead would hold new challenges, new lessons, and new adventures. But for the first time, he felt truly ready, not just as a human in an alien world, but as a partner, a trusted ally, and someone who belonged. Kira stood beside him, her gaze firm and unwavering. "Tomorrow, and every day after, we continue our work," she said. "But tonight, we celebrate. You have earned it, Ethan." Ethan smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. "Then let's celebrate, Kira. Together." The palace shimmered under the twin moons, the city alive with light and hope. Ethan and Kira walked side by side, their steps synchronized, their hearts aligned, and their bond stronger than ever. For Ethan, the journey had transformed him from a visitor to a student, to a trusted ally, And finally, to someone who had earned a place in the heart of an alien world, as they looked out over the city, Ethan realized that this was more than an assignment or a duty. It was a beginning, a chance to bridge worlds, to build trust, and to face the future with courage, intelligence, and companionship. And with Kira by his side, he knew that anything was possible. The stars above sparkled with promise. The palace stood as a testament to resilience and unity. And Ethan, the human who had been assigned to Kira, had proven that even in the vastness of space, courage, respect, and trust could create bonds stronger than any barrier, and that the human spirit could rise to meet challenges beyond imagination. And so, the story of Ethan and Kira continued, a story of alliance, trust, courage, and the unbreakable bond between human and Xerethian, one that would shape the future of two worlds forever. Ethan woke to the soft glow of the palace gardens filtering through the translucent walls of his quarters. The air was cool, carrying the faint hum of the plants outside. Today, Kira had promised to teach him more about Xerethian culture, but he had no idea what that would involve. Still, he felt a strange excitement, as if every new lesson brought him closer to understanding this alien world and, perhaps, closer to Kira herself. When he arrived at the training grounds, Kira was already waiting, standing tall and confident as usual. She wore a ceremonial outfit that gleamed in the sunlight, accentuating her elegant yet powerful figure. Her violet eyes sparkled with amusement as she saw him approach. "Ready for today's lessons, human?" she asked, her voice carrying a playful edge. "I think so," Ethan replied cautiously, trying to hide the nervousness in his voice. "I hope I don't embarrass myself." Kira's smirk deepened. "Embarrassment is part of learning. Do not fear it. Now follow me." They walked to a courtyard surrounded by glowing plants and softly humming fountains. Kira motioned for him to stand in the center while she began a series of movements, flowing and precise, like a dance but with strength behind every motion. "This is the way of balance," she explained. "Every step has meaning. Every gesture shows respect, focus, and awareness. You will try to copy me." Ethan hesitated but followed her movements as best he could. He stumbled at first, his human body unaccustomed to the precise rhythm and long flowing gestures. Kira's eyes never left him, correcting gently when he was off balance. "Focus. Feel the movement, not just your feet," she instructed. Slowly, he began to find a rhythm, and Kira nodded once, satisfied. "You improve faster than expected," she said. "Most humans cannot manage the coordination even after weeks." Ethan felt a flush of pride. "Thank you, I am trying my best." Kira studied him for a moment, her expression softening slightly. "Your effort shows more than skill alone. That is important here. Remember it." After the lesson, they moved to a dining hall for lunch. The hall was vast, filled with tables arranged in geometric patterns. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved gracefully, speaking in musical tones. Ethan tried to follow Kira's instructions on how to sit, how to hold the utensils, and how to pour the glowing liquid into cups without spilling. He spilled a small amount, and Kira's amusement was clear, though she didn't scold him. "You are clumsy," she said with a smile, "but not hopeless. Most humans would have ruined the entire presentation." Ethan laughed nervously. "I'll take that as a compliment." Kira tilted her head. "It is. You survive where others fail. That is a rare quality in your species." After lunch, Kira guided him to a section of the palace reserved for learning Xerethian history and politics. She showed him holographic displays of the Empire's wars, alliances, and cultural practices. Ethan absorbed the information as best he could, but some of the concepts were difficult for a human mind. "You are not expected to understand everything immediately," Kira reassured him. "Even Xerethians take years to grasp all of this. But you must learn enough to act with respect and intelligence. That is your duty." Ethan nodded, realizing that this assignment was more than ceremonial. He was being groomed to act as a bridge between two species, to show humans as capable allies, not naive outsiders. The thought gave him a sense of purpose that he had never felt before. Later in the afternoon, Kira led him to the palace training arena, a massive space with sand-like flooring and glowing markers. Here Ethan would learn basic defense techniques, not to fight for real, but to understand Xerithian martial culture. Kira demonstrated movements with a staff, her body flowing with precision and strength. "You must learn awareness and control," she instructed. "Even humans can be dangerous if they have skill and intelligence. Your mind is your greatest weapon, not your body." Ethan practiced under her watchful eye, sometimes faltering, sometimes finding surprising moments of fluidity. Kira's corrections were precise and brief, never cruel, but always demanding. During a break, she approached him, her eyes softening for a moment. "You have courage, human," she said. "Most would have given up by now. Most would have feared failure. You continue, and that makes you." Interesting. Ethan felt warmth rise to his cheeks. He had never been praised like this, especially not by someone so powerful. "Thank you," he said quietly. Kira's smirk returned, though gentler this time. "Do not thank me yet. You have much to learn. And there are other challenges ahead, ones that will not be so simple as dance or defense exercises." As the sun began to set, casting a soft orange glow over the crystalline palace, Kira guided him to a balcony overlooking the city. The streets below were alive with aliens moving gracefully, lights shimmering and small flying vehicles gliding past. "This is your world now," she said softly. "Or at least part of it. You will spend your days learning, your nights observing, and your mind will grow as much as your body. In time, you may even earn the trust of others here, not just me, but all Xerithians." Ethan looked out over the city, feeling both awe and apprehension. He was still a human in an alien world, still vulnerable, but he felt a strange confidence building within him. Perhaps he could succeed. Perhaps he could even thrive. That night, as he prepared for rest, he thought about Kira, her confidence, her strength, her sharp wit. They both intimidated and fascinated him. He realized that he looked forward to the next day, not just for the lessons, but to see her again, to learn more from her, and perhaps to earn her respect. The next morning, the palace erupted in activity. Kira had summoned Ethan for a demonstration of his progress. Other Xerithians gathered to observe. Ethan felt his heart race as he stepped onto the arena floor. Kira's violet eyes met his, a spark of challenge in them. "Show them your understanding of balance." "Human," she instructed. He nodded, recalling every movement, every step, every lesson from the past days. As he moved, he felt his body adjust, his mind focus, and his confidence grow. The other Xerithians watched silently, their expressions unreadable. When he finished, Kira clapped her hands softly. "Impressive," she said. "You are learning faster than most expect. Humans may yet surprise us." Ethan exhaled, feeling a mixture of relief and pride. For the first time since arriving, he felt that he truly belonged here, not fully, not yet, but enough to continue. Over the next few days, the lessons continued, blending cultural understanding, defense training, and social interaction. Ethan grew more comfortable, though he remained aware of the delicate balance required. Kira continued to test him, teasing him when he faltered, praising him when he excelled. Their relationship grew from formal to friendly, with hints of genuine curiosity and respect developing between them. One evening, while walking through the glowing gardens, Kira spoke quietly. "You are unusual, human. Most of your kind would have crumbled under the pressure. Most would have feared me. But you are different." Ethan looked at her, unsure what to say. I want to do well. Not just for me, but for Earth. And I suppose for you too?" Kira's violet eyes softened, her smirk gentle. "Perhaps you are beginning to understand what I expected. Effort, respect, and a willingness to learn. That is more valuable than any skill. Remember it as they walked together." Ethan realized he was beginning to see Kira not just as a powerful alien princess, but as a person. Strong, intelligent, and confident, but also capable of respect, amusement, and even kindness. It was a side she rarely showed others, and he felt honored to witness it. By the time night fell, Ethan returned to his quarters, exhausted but fulfilled. He had learned more in these days than he could have imagined. He had faced challenges, stumbled, improved, and gained a measure of Kira's respect. And though he did not yet fully understand the customs or the culture of Zerathia, he felt himself becoming a part of it, slowly but surely, lying in bed. Ethan thought about what tomorrow would bring. More lessons, more challenges, more tests of his courage and intellect. But he also thought about Kira and the strange connection forming between them. He realized that this assignment, so bizarre, so unexpected, might be the most important thing he had ever undertaken. And perhaps, just perhaps, he was ready for it. With that thought, he closed his eyes, ready to face another day on Zerathia, ready to continue learning, and ready to fulfill his assigned duties as best as he could. The days on Zerathia were both exhausting and exhilarating for Ethan. Each morning brought new lessons, new challenges, and new opportunities to understand the alien culture. Yet beneath the elegance and beauty of the palace, there was a tension that he could not ignore. Kira's eyes often held a flicker of concern, a shadow of worry that she tried to hide from everyone else. Ethan had noticed, but he didn't understand its meaning until one afternoon. When the palace gates rang with the urgent sound of an alarm, Kira appeared instantly. Moving with the speed and precision of a seasoned warrior, "Ethan, stay close and follow me exactly," she ordered. Her voice was sharp, leaving no room for argument. She led him to a secure observation point overlooking the city. Below, a group of figures moved quickly through the lower district. They carried weapons and banners that Ethan could barely recognize. But Kira's eyes narrowed in recognition. "Rebels," she said quietly. "They do not approve of humans participating in our customs. They seek to disrupt the peace treaty and undermine my position." Ethan's heart pounded. He had been warned about danger, of course, but nothing had prepared him to see it so clearly. The rebels moved with coordination and intent. Kira's hand rested briefly on his shoulder, a reassuring yet commanding gesture. "Do not panic. Watch and learn. I will handle them." Even though he was terrified, Ethan felt a strange surge of determination. He had learned from Kira to observe carefully, to think before acting, and to remain calm under pressure. He took a deep breath and focused on the situation below. Kira leaped from the balcony, landing gracefully in the courtyard. She moved with a combination of power and elegance that left Ethan momentarily breathless. The rebels rushed toward her, but she anticipated every move, disarming and subduing them with a skill that seemed almost unreal. Ethan instinctively picked up a fallen staff and tried to assist by blocking a swinging weapon. He moved clumsily, but the rebels hesitated, giving Kira the opening she needed to neutralize the threat. When the last rebel fled, Kira approached him, her expression unreadable. "You acted well for a human," she said. "Most would have frozen completely. Your timing was unexpected, but effective." Ethan could hardly believe it. I just did what I thought might help," he stammered. "That is exactly why you survived," Kira replied. Her violet eyes softened slightly. "Instinct and courage matter more than training alone. Remember that." In the following days, the palace returned to a cautious calm. But the incident had changed something between Ethan and Kira. She began to treat him with a new level of respect, consulting him on minor matters and allowing him to accompany her to council meetings. For Ethan, this was both thrilling and intimidating. He was still a human, small and inexperienced compared to the powerful Zerathians around him. Yet he felt that he was becoming more than just an outsider. During a quiet evening, Kira brought him to a secluded garden within the palace. The glow of the plants cast soft light over the paths, and the gentle hum of alien insects filled the air. "Ethan," she said softly, "there is more to this world than rituals and training. You must understand the politics as well. There are those within my court who wish to see the treaty fail. They believe humans are weak and cannot be trusted." Ethan listened carefully. "What can we do?" he asked. Kira's expression grew serious. "We must be cautious. We must expose the traitors before they strike again. I need your insight, your perspective. Humans think differently than Zerithians, and that can be a strength. Over the next several days, Ethan observed the palace, learning the subtleties of Zerithian behavior. He noticed whispers, sideways glances, and the occasional tension in meetings. With Kira's guidance, he pieced together the possible conspirators. She explained the subtle signs, teaching him how to interpret behavior that would seem meaningless to a human at first glance. One afternoon, they discovered a secret meeting taking place in a lower chamber. Ethan watched hidden behind a pillar as the traitors spoke in low, urgent tones. Their words were sharp, full of disdain for humans and for Kira. They spoke of disrupting the treaty, undermining her authority, and taking control of the palace. Ethan felt a chill run down his spine. "We cannot let them succeed," Kira said, her voice quiet but filled with determination. "You must remain hidden and observe. I will handle the confrontation, but your knowledge will be invaluable." Ethan nodded, feeling both fear and resolve. He realized that this was no longer about training or cultural lessons. This was about survival, loyalty, and the fragile peace between two civilizations. The day of confrontation arrived. Kira, with Ethan by her side, summoned the council under the pretense of a routine meeting. As they gathered, Kira revealed the evidence of the conspirators' plans. The traitors tried to deny it, but Ethan had memorized key phrases, gestures, and interactions that exposed their deceit. Kira's authority and strategic thinking, combined with Ethan's careful observations, created a convincing case. The traitors were confronted publicly, and Kira challenged their leader to a duel following Zerithian tradition. Ethan watched in awe as she moved with unmatched precision, her every strike controlled, every step calculated. The duel ended swiftly, with Kira victorious. The council accepted the outcome. The conspirators were removed from positions of influence. Afterward, Kira turned to Ethan, her expression unreadable at first, then softening. "You have been invaluable, human. Your insight, courage, and quick thinking contributed to the success of this day." Ethan felt a mixture of relief and pride. "I just tried to do what I could," he said humbly. "No," Kira replied firmly. "You did more than that. You proved that humans can be allies, not just pawns. You have earned my respect," as the sun set over the crystalline towers. Ethan and Kira walked through the palace gardens, the glowing plants casting long shadows. The events of the past days had changed their relationship. What had begun as a formal assignment was now something more. There was trust, mutual respect, and a growing bond that neither could ignore. Ethan realized that Kira, despite her strength and authority, had moments of vulnerability that she rarely showed. He saw her doubt, her concern for her people, and her willingness to trust him despite his human frailty. In return, Kira saw a human who could remain calm under pressure, think critically, and act with courage when needed. Over the following week, Kira increased Ethan's responsibilities. He accompanied her to council meetings, assisted in planning defenses for the palace, and even took part in ceremonial duties with more confidence. Each experience strengthened his understanding of Zerithian culture and deepened the bond between them. One evening, as they walked along a balcony overlooking the city, Ethan spoke quietly. "Kira, I never imagined I would be here in your world, learning your ways, and facing danger alongside you. It's more than I expected from this assignment." Kira looked at him, her violet eyes reflecting the lights of the city. "And yet you are succeeding. Humans are resilient, more than we often give them credit for. You are proof of that." Ethan felt a warmth rise in his chest. "Thank you for trusting me." Kira smirked gently, a rare softness in her expression. "Trust must be earned. You have earned it, human. But remember, this is only the beginning. Greater challenges lie ahead. You must continue to grow, to learn, and to adapt." Ethan nodded, determined. "I will. Whatever comes next, I'll be ready." The days that followed brought more lessons, more challenges, and more opportunities for Ethan to prove himself. He learned to navigate palace politics, to understand Zerithian customs in depth, and to anticipate potential threats. Kira continued to guide him, challenging him both physically and mentally, pushing him to his limits while also protecting him from unnecessary harm. Through it all, Ethan's admiration for Kira grew. He saw not just the powerful princess, but the thoughtful, intelligent, and capable leader she truly was. And Kira, in turn, began to see Ethan not as a naive human, but as a valuable ally, someone she could trust and rely on, in a world that often seemed hostile and unpredictable. One night, as they watched the twin moons rise over the city, Kira spoke quietly. "Ethan, you've changed since your arrival. You are no longer just a visitor or an assignment. You are part of this world now, in a way few humans ever will be." Ethan felt a mixture of pride and humility. "I still have much to learn," he said, "but I want to. I want to understand your people, your world, and I want to help." Kira's smile was faint but genuine. "Then you will continue to learn, and together we will ensure the peace treaty succeeds. You have proven yourself capable, human. Now we face the next challenge." Ethan nodded, feeling a sense of purpose he had never known. He was no longer just a diplomat or a visitor. He was part of something greater, part of a bond that crossed worlds, species, and expectations. And though the road ahead was uncertain, he was ready to face it alongside Kira, the alien princess who had assigned him to her side. As the city lights twinkled below and the moons rose high above, Ethan realized that he had found not only a mission, but a place where he could belong, a purpose that mattered, and a connection that could transcend even the vast distance between human and alien. Tomorrow, and every day after, he would continue to prove himself, to learn and to grow. And through it all, he would stand beside Kira, ready to face whatever challenges came, together. The palace was quieter than usual that morning, but Ethan sensed a tension in the air that he could not ignore. Kira moved with her usual grace, but there was a sharpness in her eyes, a vigilance that suggested she expected trouble. Over the past weeks, Ethan had grown more comfortable in her presence, understanding her gestures, her moods, and even the subtle glints in her violet eyes. Yet today, he felt that something larger was at play. "Kira," Ethan began cautiously, "is everything all right? You seem different." Kira turned to him, her expression serious. "There are still those who oppose the treaty," she said. "Even after the last incident, some believe a human's presence is a threat to Xerithian tradition. They will try again. I can feel it." Ethan nodded, feeling a mixture of apprehension and determination. "Then we need a plan. We can't let them succeed." She studied him for a moment, her sharp gaze assessing. "You have grown quickly, human. Your observations have helped me greatly. But now, you must act with care. There is danger ahead, and this time, it will be personal." As they moved through the halls of the palace, Kira explained the plan. They would draw the conspirators out by presenting themselves in the council chamber under the guise of routine diplomacy. Ethan would observe and remember details, gestures, words, alliances. Kira would confront them publicly once she had confirmation of their intentions. It was a delicate balance of strategy, courage, and timing. The council chamber was a vast space, its walls shimmering with energy patterns that shifted as the members moved. Xerithians of all shapes and sizes were gathered, their expressions a mixture of curiosity and caution. Ethan felt his heart race as he took his place beside Kira. He had been through lessons, drills, and minor confrontations. But this was the most serious moment yet. The meeting began with routine discussions, but Ethan watched carefully. Subtle signs emerged, whispers exchanged, hands brushing over concealed weapons, glances that lingered too long. Kira's eyes narrowed, and she gave Ethan a brief, almost imperceptible nod. He understood as the discussion moved toward the treaty. Kira spoke, her voice calm but firm. "We are here to discuss the progress of the peace initiative. It is in the interest of all Xerithians to ensure stability, cooperation, and mutual respect." A council member, a tall figure with dark metallic skin, stepped forward. And yet, some question the wisdom of including humans in this process. They are untested, fragile and unpredictable. Ethan's stomach tightened. He recognized the voice one of the conspirators. He focused, remembering gestures and subtle movements, noting alliances among the council members. He whispered key observations to Kira when the session adjourned briefly. She listened carefully, absorbing every detail. "You have done well, human," she said. "Your observations are precise. Now we prepare for the confrontation." The next phase of the plan required courage. Kira would challenge the conspirators, following Zirathian tradition, while Ethan remained in a secure position to monitor their actions and provide critical information. The moment came in the grand arena where ceremonial duels were conducted before the council. Kira stepped forward, her posture commanding respect and attention. The conspirators hesitated, but one stepped forward, accepting the challenge. Kira's movements were fluid, precise, and powerful. Ethan watched, heart pounding, as she disarmed and neutralized her opponent with elegance and skill. Every motion conveyed authority, strength, and control, even as she fought. Ethan noticed subtle signs that could have gone unnoticed: the slight tremor in the opponent's hands, the hesitation in his stance. Kira's ability to read these cues impressed him deeply. It was more than skill. It was instinct, honed through years of experience. The duel ended decisively. Kira's victory was undeniable, and the conspirators were exposed to the council. Ethan's observations had been invaluable, providing evidence of deceit and planning. The council accepted the outcome, and the traitors were removed from positions of influence, their threat neutralized. After the confrontation, Kira approached Ethan, her violet eyes meeting his. "You have proven yourself," she said. "Not just in observation, but in courage and judgment. Humans are underestimated, but you have shown your worth." Ethan felt a surge of pride and relief. "I just did what I could," he replied modestly. "No," Kira said firmly. "You did more than that. You contributed to the safety of this palace, the success of the treaty, and my trust in your species. That is remarkable." In the following days, life at the palace slowly returned to a cautious normalcy. Ethan continued his lessons and responsibilities, but the bond between him and Kira had deepened. They walked together through the glowing gardens, discussed strategies in the council chamber, and shared moments of quiet reflection. Kira's demeanor toward him had softened, though she remained as sharp and commanding as ever. One evening, as they walked along a balcony overlooking the city, Ethan felt brave enough to speak. "Kira, I never imagined I would be part of something like this. Not just a mission, but a connection. I feel like I've grown because of you, because of your trust." Kira regarded him with a mixture of amusement and sincerity. "You have adapted well, human. Your courage and intelligence have proven valuable. But remember, trust is earned every day. You must continue to show it, not just through action, but through understanding and respect." Ethan nodded.
"I will."
"Whatever comes, I'll continue to learn, to grow, and to support you and your people." Kira's smirk softened, almost imperceptibly. "Good. That is what I expect. That is what I admire." In the days that followed, Ethan participated in more complex lessons. He learned the nuances of Zirathian diplomacy, including the subtle art of persuasion, the careful reading of expressions, and the interpretation of gestures that could reveal intentions. He also took part in physical training, refining his balance, reflexes, and coordination under Kira's watchful eye. Through it all, their relationship continued to evolve. The teasing banter of the first days had shifted into mutual respect and understanding. Ethan began to anticipate Kira's moods and actions, while Kira allowed herself to trust him in ways she rarely permitted with others. One afternoon, as they walked through the palace gardens, Kira spoke quietly. "Ethan, humans are unpredictable. That can be a weakness, but also a strength. You have shown that your species is capable of courage, intelligence, and loyalty. You have exceeded my expectations." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest. "Thank you, Kira. I never imagined I would earn that kind of respect here." Kira's violet eyes held his gaze. "Respect is earned through action, human. And you have proven yourself in ways few could." But the true test is not over. There are challenges yet to come, ones that will require not only skill, but trust, judgment, and courage beyond measure. Ethan understood. The palace, the council, and the treaty were only part of the picture. Greater challenges loomed, testing both him and Kira in ways they could not yet predict. But he also realized that he no longer feared them in the same way. He had learned from Kira, adapted to her world, discovered strengths within himself he had never known. That evening, as the twin moons rose above the city, Kira and Ethan stood side by side on a balcony. The soft glow of the palace gardens reflected in their eyes. "Tomorrow," Kira said, "we begin preparations for the next phase. There will be no more hiding. We will act openly, decisively, and together." Ethan felt a surge of determination. "I'm ready," he said. "Whatever comes, we face it together." Kira's smirk returned, gentler this time. "Good. That is all I ask." As they watched the moons rise, Ethan realized that he had changed. He was no longer simply a human visitor or an assigned partner. He was part of Kira's world, a trusted ally, and someone who could stand beside her in both diplomacy and challenge. And though the road ahead was uncertain, he knew that together they could face anything. The palace seemed peaceful that night, but Ethan remained vigilant. He had learned that danger could appear at any moment, often in the most unexpected ways. Yet he also knew that courage, intelligence, and trust could overcome even the greatest threats as he prepared for rest. He thought of Kira, her strength, her wit, her command, and her growing trust in him. He realized that what had begun as a formal assignment had transformed into something deeper. A bond had formed, one that transcended species and expectations. Ethan closed his eyes. Ready for the next day, ready for the challenges ahead, and ready to continue standing by Kira's side, whatever the galaxy might bring. He had faced fear, danger, and uncertainty, and he had emerged stronger, braver, and more capable than he had ever imagined. And he knew that the most important tests were still to come. Ethan stared at the massive starship before him, its silver hull reflecting the light of a nearby sun. He had been told this mission was simple act, as a diplomat. Observe the alien planet Zerathia, and ensure the peace treaty between Earth and the Zerathian Empire moved forward. He had expected meetings, long discussions, and perhaps a few formal dinners. Nothing had prepared him for what awaited him. The ramp lowered with a metallic hiss, and he stepped out into a world that felt both alien and beautiful. Towering crystalline structures reached into the sky, casting prismatic reflections on the smooth ground. Strange plants with glowing leaves lined the paths, moving slightly as if they were aware of him. A gentle breeze carried a faint musical hum, unlike anything he had ever heard. Every detail screamed that this planet belonged to a civilization far older and more advanced than humanity. A figure approached from the main building, walking with a confident, almost predatory grace. She was tall. Her skin shimmered with silver under the sun, and her eyes glowed violet. Her movements were precise, like a trained fighter. Yet there was an elegance to her that made Ethan's stomach twist in nervous anticipation. She stopped a few feet away, smiling slightly, her sharp teeth flashing. "You've been assigned to me, human," she said, her voice smooth, almost teasing. "Time to fulfill your romantic duties." Ethan froze. His mouth opened, then closed. "Excuse me?" he managed to say, "The alien Princess Kira." As she would later introduce herself, smirked, clearly enjoying his confusion. "You heard me correctly. You are to be my assigned partner for the duration of your stay. It is tradition. Do not resist." Ethan's mind raced. He had trained for diplomacy, not whatever this was. I think there's been some misunderstanding," he stammered. "I came here to negotiate trade and peace agreements." "I didn't." Kira raised a hand, cutting him off. "No misunderstanding. You were chosen by the council, and I am the one you have been assigned to. Consider it an honor. You will learn our customs, share meals, and participate in the rituals. That is all. Romantic duties? Yes, but mostly symbolic. Nothing harmful will be required. Resist, and you risk offending not only me, but the entire Zerathian Empire. Ethan swallowed hard. The weight of the situation pressed on him. His government had failed to explain a crucial part of this diplomatic mission. Still, he knew he had little choice. Angering this alien princess could end not only the treaty, but perhaps Earth's safety in the galaxy. "I understand," he said finally, forcing a calm tone. Kira's smirk widened. "Good, then let us begin." She turned and walked gracefully toward the palace. Ethan followed, each step making him more aware of how small he felt in her presence. The palace doors were enormous, carved from a crystal that shimmered with a faint light from within. Inside, the walls were smooth, glowing faintly, and filled with strange patterns that seemed to shift when he looked directly at them. Kira led him through halls filled with other Zerathians, all tall and muscular, all observing Ethan with curiosity. Some whispered among themselves, others simply stared. He felt their eyes like weight pressing on his shoulders. Kira did not seem to notice, or perhaps she did, and simply did not care. "This is your home for now," she said, as they entered a room filled with soft light and cushioned seating. "Here, you will learn about our ways. You will join me in meals, in training, and in ceremony, and you will show respect to our customs. You will also speak honestly with me. That is required." Ethan nodded, trying to hide his nervousness. Of course, Kira tilted her head, studying him. "You are unlike the other humans I have met. You seem nervous, yes, but also curious. Good, curiosity is useful here." Over the next hours, Kira began introducing Ethan to basic Zerathian customs. They shared a meal of luminescent fruits and nutrient-rich pastes. She showed him how to hold the ceremonial cup and how to bound, too low, not too high. Everything had meaning, and every mistake could be noticed. Ethan fumbled often, but Kira's amusement remained gentle. Occasionally, she corrected him with a soft touch or a playful smirk that made him feel simultaneously embarrassed and oddly reassured. By the end of the day, Ethan was exhausted. His brain buzzed from learning gestures, phrases, and the subtle signals of respect that dominated Zerathian culture. Yet, despite the difficulty, he found himself fascinated. This planet, its people, and even Princess Kira herself were unlike anything he had encountered. That night, as he tried to sleep in the guest quarters provided for him, his mind refused to quiet. He kept replaying the day, remembering Kira's sharp gaze and the confident way she moved. He wondered if he could ever truly understand her people, or if he would forever feel like an outsider. Still, a small voice inside him urged that he could adapt. Humans had survived and thrived under far worse conditions. The following morning, Ethan was called to the palace training grounds. Kira was already there, standing in a wide stance, her hands resting on her hips. "Today," she said, "you will learn the first physical lesson. Not combat necessarily, but discipline. Control your movements, respect the space of others, and do not stumble too badly. It is embarrassing." Ethan followed her instructions, moving carefully as she guided him through a series of exercises. At first, he was clumsy, tripping over his own feet or misjudging distances. Kira would sometimes laugh softly, but it was never cruel. Slowly, he began to improve. He noticed that she watched him closely, her violet eyes measuring every step, every breath. During a break, Kira approached him. "You are improving faster than I expected. Most humans fail at this stage. Perhaps you are. More capable than your kind usually appears." Ethan felt his face flush. "I try my best," he said. She smiled. "Good. That is all we ask." Effort matters more than perfection. Later that day, the palace alarm sounded. Ethan froze as Kira's expression shifted from playful to serious. She signaled him to follow as she ran through corridors with precision and speed that left him struggling to keep up. They reached a balcony overlooking the city. "There is a disturbance in the lower district," she said. "Some rebels oppose the treaty. They do not approve of humans participating in our customs." Before Ethan could respond, Kira leaped into action, drawing a weapon that glowed with energy. He watched, awestruck, as she moved like a shadow, precise and lethal, but controlled. She disarmed several attackers with skillful maneuvers, all the while keeping an eye on Ethan. "Stay back." She called. Ethan, unsure, froze but noticed a small group of rebels moving toward him. Acting on instinct, he grabbed a loose pipe and swung it at the nearest attacker. The move was clumsy, but it startled the rebel enough for Kira to intervene. Together, they neutralized the threat. After the attack, Kira turned to him. "You acted well for a human," she said, her tone carrying both amusement and respect. Most would have frozen completely. Ethan shook his head, still trying to catch his breath. I didn't know what else to do." "That is exactly why you survived," Kira replied. She placed a hand on his shoulder briefly, a gesture of approval. For a moment, Ethan felt a connection beyond words. A bond forming between human and alien that neither fully understood as the sun set over Zerethia. Casting a golden glow over the crystalline towers, Kira led Ethan to a quiet garden. "You will learn more tomorrow," she said softly. "But for now, rest. You have done well." Ethan looked around the glowing plants and sparkling water features. Despite the strangeness of this world, despite the uncertainty and danger, he felt a sense of purpose. He had been thrown into a situation far beyond anything he had imagined, yet he knew he could survive it. And perhaps, he thought with a small, nervous smile, he could even thrive as he lay in the guest quarters that night. He thought of Kira, of her teasing words, her sharp gaze, and the subtle warmth behind her smirk. This assignment, bizarre as it was, had already begun to change him. He was no longer just a diplomat. He was a human in a world of powerful aliens, learning their ways, testing his limits, and perhaps discovering courage he had never known he possessed. Tomorrow would bring more lessons, more challenges, and certainly more surprises. Ethan closed his eyes, determined to face whatever came, ready to fulfill his romantic duties with as much dignity and curiosity as he could muster.